November 24th, 1971. The day before Thanksgiving. A man approaches the Northwest Orient Airlines counter. He gives his name as Dan Cooper. He buys a one-way ticket to Seattle, $20 cash, no ID required. It was a different world back then. Flight 305 takes off into the gray sky. It's a short flight, only 30 minutes. The man in 18E orders a bourbon and soda. He seems like any other businessman heading home for the holidays. But moments after takeoff, he hands the flight attendant a note to Florence Schaffner. She thinks he's just flirting, so she drops it in her purse, unread, leans toward her. He speaks 8 words that change aviation history forever. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." He wasn't bluffing. The briefcase contained red cylinders, wires, and a battery. Cooper was calm, polite even. He told the flight attendant to take dictation. His demands were specific. $200,000 in unmarked $20 bills. A fuel truck standing by in Seattle to refuel the plane immediately upon landing. And, crucially, 4 parachutes. The FBI was baffled by the parachutes. Why 4? If he intended to jump alone, he only needed 2. The authorities concluded he intended to take hostages with the crew, perhaps the flight attendants. This brilliant psychological move ensured the FBI wouldn't give him sabotaged chutes. They couldn't risk killing the crew. The plane circled Seattle for 2 hours while the FBI scrambled to photograph 10,000 $20 bills and source the parachutes from a local skydiving school. On board, Cooper paid for his drinks. He even tried to give the flight attendant a tip. He was the perfect gentleman hijacker. At 5:39 p.m., Flight 305 landed in Seattle. The exchange began. The passengers were released. None of them knew they had been hijacked until they were on the ground. The money bag and parachutes were delivered. Cooper kept the 4 crew members on board. He laid out the flight plan for the next leg. They were heading to Mexico City. But he had strange instructions for the pilots. He ordered them to fly low, under 10,000 feet, to keep the speed under 200 knots, and to fly with the landing gear down and flaps set to 15 degrees. Why these specific settings? Because Cooper knew something about the Boeing 727 that few others did. It was one of the only commercial jets equipped with ventral air stairs, a door in the tail that could be opened mid-flight. At 7:40 p.m., the plane took off into the black, stormy night. It was just Cooper and the crew. Somewhere over southwestern Washington, Cooper ordered the crew into the cockpit and told them to lock the door. He was alone in the rear cabin. At approximately 8 p.m., a warning light flashed in the cockpit. It indicated the rear door was being opened. The cabin instantly depressurized. The noise of the engines and the 200-mile-per-hour wind would have been deafening. The pilots felt the tail of the plane lurch upward. D.B. Cooper, the money, and the mystery stepped off the stairs and vanished into the night. 5 military jets were trailing the plane, but due to the storm and Cooper's low altitude, none of them saw the jump. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in American history. They searched the thick forests of Washington for weeks. They found nothing. It was as if the earth had swallowed him whole. The only things Cooper left behind on the plane were 2 of the parachutes and his black clip-on tie, purchased from J.C. Penney. DNA testing years later yielded only partial, inconclusive profiles. 9 years passed. Then, in 1980, a young boy digging a fire pit on the banks of the Columbia River found 3 bundles of rotting cash. The serial numbers matched the Cooper money. It was only $5,800. The rest of the $200,000 has never been seen again. Did he survive the jump? He jumped into a freezing rainstorm at night, wearing only a business suit and loafers, into rugged terrain. The FBI believes he didn't survive the landing. But no body was ever found, no parachute, and the majority of the money remains missing. In 2016, the FBI officially suspended the active investigation. D.B. Cooper committed the perfect crime and became an American ghost.